Hey YouTube, Dread Joker here, and today it's going to be a bit of a weird one again. So starting off, I do apologize, my schedule is insanely chaotic right now. It is summer where I live, and the average temperature in my working area is close to about 89 to 98 degrees, and that's with a fan going on high. So until summer cools down, uploads from me will get a little sporadic. I do apologize for that. But anybody who saw my previous video will know that a few weeks ago, one of my best friends ever decided to send me a care package. This care package was filled with Gunpla. So seriously, man, thank you. You are single-handedly keeping me sane, and consequently this is where some of the sanity went away, because I decided to build one of them, the biggest one in the set. So getting its display base out of the way right now, yeah, it's big. This base is so big, it is the runner. Underneath here you see we have an adapter and another slot. This is because this works with multiple other kits, and anybody who's ever seen this base knows that this only comes with about 10 kits, the vast majority of which are premium Bandai. We are looking at one such kit today because my buddy sent me the red Zeta Gundam. I absolutely love the design of this thing, but before we get into it, so cautionary tales. I'm gonna flip this thing over. You might be thinking, oh hey, that doesn't look so bad for all the decals and stuff like that. Let me show you what the decals look like. So, you see all the striping on this mobile suit? Literally all of it. Stickers. I have not applied all of them because, honestly, I've lost my damn mind. I went cross-eyed doing this thing twice. So, this is forever not being applied. The rest of these aren't. And for those thinking, okay, well, I'll just use the water slides. Yeah, about that. I don't quite think that's gonna cover it. So, break out the paint, break out the heat gun, break out the glue gun, or break out a shotgun. Because you're gonna have to threaten and coerce this thing into cooperating. So when I was first starting off, I was heavily cautioned away from Zeta Gundams. This is actually my first Master Grade Zeta base ever. So this is like, and I understand this, I love the Zeta Gundam with a passion. I absolutely despise full body transformation mobile suits just because of that transformation, something is always screwed up beyond belief. This is no exception. So I'm not bashing on him for sending it. Seriously, man, I love this thing. This took me about probably 16 hours to build, and I build straight, so it was 16 hours of up, down, build, and stretching.
Nice doing business with you again. Time for me to, relocate.
The instructions are in Blargian.
Goodbye. And it says here, tab A goes into slot B. Okay, and then magnetize the graviton matrix, remove your left arm, block, and done. You do have skills.
You know it.
The end result looks beautiful. Also, I do believe this was a first printing. How can I confirm this? None of the stickers want to stay down. There are a few that want to stay. The emblem up here on the shoulder, which is for a first, because I actually thought to apply that, because I wanted it there, because it looked really different without it, and I absolutely love it. But if we turn around to the tail section here, also you can see the problem here. It's worse on the tail. These are stickers that are like this. They have to stick on and fold. I'm actually considering, and I'm talking with some people in my group about this now, I need to know if I can use extra thin cement to seal these down, because if I can't, I'm using Gorilla Glue. I don't care. I'm already going to have to tighten up half the kit. Because I transformed this kit exactly one time, which is why you will not see me transform this kit. Because, let me grab the manual again so I can show you the image. See those fins on the crotch? They broke. I transformed it one time and they broke. The fins are fine. These itty bitty freaking half toothpick pegs, no, they're dead. They're dead, Jim. But for those wondering, okay, well, is this kit worth about $130? I'm straight up going to tell you, no, it's not. You do get a lot of parts in the box, though. I am going to say that. So let me just set the base back off to the side here so I can actually, let me rephrase that. Let me take this part off the base, and I'll love the base that does this. So let's get this part set up here. I'm going to get him on his little action base peg, which is really not standard. So if you don't have this base, you can't display him airborne. So for those of you thinking, okay, I'll just get a standard action base, no, you won't. This one only uses this action peg, or this peg style, or the 4-peg cradle ones that just generally don't work except on IBO kits because they're just so light. And this is the part where I start rambling, because if I don't, I'm going to accidentally break something. And now it's actively fighting me. It does not want to go in there. Why do you not want to go in the hole? You went in the hole yesterday for me just fine while I was taking that final picture for you. You know what? Screw you. Oh. That's why. You know, this thing, the base connector works pretty well if I remember which way it goes in. And I had it the correct way to begin with. This thing is just really finicky. You're going to hear that a lot in this review. This kit, I'm not talking about this kit specifically, I'm talking about this type. The Zeta base kits are so finicky that I have created 2 memes. One of which describes how complicated they are to build, and the other one describes, well, you'll see what it's like to transform the kit. Because I'm certainly not showing it. Honestly, this is like trying to transform a Masterpiece Transformer on screen. It's not easy. Like, anybody remember the original freaking Seekers from the Masterpiece Transformers line? Yeah, it's a little complicated like that. So I'm going to get him up on there. Now I'm going to show you what all is left over. Because if you had the B-Runner from the Master Grade Zeta Gundam 2.0, you would have 100% of the base kit left. So, for spare parts, this includes, and I've got some of these assembled, original shoulder pads. So for custom builders, this is going to be something you'll like. Here's the original wing binders, just missing the original deployable wings. So they're kind of like half assembled wing binders, because that's supposed to be pulled in here, and that's, you know, all floppy. But upside, 3mm peg. This is going to be coming in handy later on. Also ball joint. Yay, ball joints. Other parts I have not bothered to cut off. And this is where Bandai is really wasting money. Like, this is where 1/3 of the cost of these kits go. So, here's the Sea Runner. Count it. 1, 2, 3. You use 3 parts off this entire runner. Otherwise, there's the majority of that left. You've got 2 runner Ds left. These consist of parts for the legs, arms, back of the ankle, and the hands. So, there's definitely a lot you can do with these. Oh, I'm sorry, you also get the original side skirting too here, it looks like, too, so that'll be fun for later on. Some caps were used in the creation of the wing binders, but this is the leftover poly caps. You get 1, 2, 3, and then several others were left on here. Runner H is pretty much used up, as this is inner frame, so you can see what all was changed. So you do have the inner frame segments of the outside and inside of the legs left. You also have this missile pod here. I cannot remember where this one goes at the moment. I just can't. I want to say this went on the leg or skirting or something. It's been a while since I've seen Zeta Gundam. You've also got the original grenade rack / wire launchers. These can be swapped into the arms, however, you will have to, do a little swapping out of parts too. Speaking of arms, here's the original arm armor and the original launcher guard. So, you can do it. Also, this is a cover, I'm guessing, for those missiles, which makes everything starting to work better now. Here is, oh, I'm sorry, there is one other inaccuracy I have to tell you. The other third of Runner A is missing. With that, you would have 100% of this kit. So if you're going to make an actual just red Zeta Gundam, you're going to need, and I don't mean this, I mean a literally just red Zeta Gundam. If you want to do this, and have all these parts left over for spares. You need to buy this kit, and the Zeta 2.0. Then you can just go crazy and just start swapping everything. Moving on to the next runner we get left over. A lot of this is touched. We get the original torso paneling here, the original back plate, the original underside, these sections here, and the original crotch panel. So, because of how badly this one is screwed up, and I don't want to, it's got an impressive profile also, codpiece, but that's beside the point. It's a very impressive looking kit also, this comes fairly standard. You get the beams. And we just found out which way my floor rolls. So, one of the gimmicks this base has, and I'm just going to slide this over so I can bring in the other action base, or I should say launch base that this thing works with, is if you have the Zeta Gundam 2.0, not Zeta, Gundam Mark II 2.0, you can take its base, there's little tabs here, you take these little slots here, and you can give it a very impressive profile, if I can stop hitting my equipment. It tabs together securely. Sadly, this was my problem when I got this thing. I thought that there would be tabs over here too, so I thought I would be able to chain these together and just have like a massive mobile suit deck standing by, but no. Overall though, yeah, I actually can say, if you get the Gundam 2.0, or the Mark II 2.0, specifically the AUG version, this does not come with the Titans, and the Zeta Gundam 2.0, or I believe also possibly the Delta Plus, since that one is basically a Zeta Gundam under everything, so everything I'm applying here, you might be able to apply there. Let's get this off. I have to leave him on the base because gravity is a thing. We'll get straight into the size comparison. So, Zeta is a big boy. Zeta is very big. Like, in terms of scale, this is about the size of the Sinanju for the Master Grade. So, by extension, the narrative version too. It's very large. So I can see why the base kit is $50. I just can't see how this one suddenly became $130. So there were some interesting things that were done in this kit. Starting off, with all the aesthetic changes, it has a much more impressive profile if you exclude the back here. This part right here, the backpack, all Zetas. This applies to all of them. It is universally one of the singular worst parts. It just weighs too much. Like, this thing will not survive a shake test. The body will, the backpack won't. The backpack has about 7 joints in it. Because you've got one in here. Let me reposition everything. You've got this one here, a rotation here, which brings all this up here. You've got one rotation here, another rotation here. Then you've got a hinge here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 joints. But these 5 joints all have to work together. This one little hinge joint right here cannot support the entirety of the backpack. It just can't. Which is, you know, a little strange considering this kit is basically 100% underneath everything, just the regular Zeta. It's just all these minor cosmetic changes, and he does have beam sabers. They are stored where you would think, well, kind of. They are stored in these F-Zero looking side skirts here. You just pull them up, there's the beam saber in there. I'm not going to pull it out because I don't feel like messing with this thing any more than I have to. This is a trophy kit. Straight up, this is something you display and you never touch. But it does have good articulation, so if you are looking to get a Zeta, like for a Zeta, I mean, it has good articulation. The head, when the V-fin stays on. You've got a minor, you've got a full-on giggity, but it also has, due to transformation, it kind of wants to do the turtle thing. So, that's one thing. And the number one thing I'm going to suggest you do, if you don't do anything else on this kit, is you don't have to line everything, but just put some effort into the head. Like what I did on mine, and it just came up straight red, was I did some lining. And then for the vents and Vulcans, I took my chroming pen and I painted it all in chrome. Because I felt like if you're going to have gun barrels on your head, make them look like gun barrels. And that is a very, very good head sculpt. I do very much love this head sculpt. Other areas of little contention on this kit. Every single one of these fins is a small part. Glue these in if you ever get this kit. This applies to the regular Zeta too. This panel right here, this whole assembly, which has to tab up in here, because, let me just open the cockpit. So there actually is somebody in there, but underneath this, up here, there is a little itty bitty tab that has to hook into it. It didn't want to go in, so just glue it. This is the part where I have to shut down my light because my camera is dying. I love this camera and I hate this camera at the same time. So now we get to work with my natural lighting. This is the part where I ramble a little more while I am struggling to get this thing hooked up and plugged into my camera so it doesn't die, and I have to start this whole review that I really didn't plan on doing today, but I wanted to get it going anyways, and we're good. So, the arm assembly is weird. It goes on up here just fine. It goes on here just fine. When you're doing the elbows, this is weird. So instead of going from, like, you got the standard joint here, but instead of going from here to here, it actually goes from here at a 90-degree angle that way. So these are the weirdest arms I have ever seen. His hands are standard. They're 3-1 and the thumb 2.0 hands. Well, the standard ones that the unicorn uses, I should say, so take that as you will. Hips. When everything is together, they actually work pretty well. So let's zoom back out. Let's just move the skirting up. And it does have really good skirting up here for the transformation, which I rarely ever compliment a Zeta's transformation because of how complicated they are. So you can bring the hip about 90 degrees forward. Backwards, no chance. For the standard knee, so there's the first bend at the knee. You've got over 90 degrees from a single joint. Getting the secondary joint involved. You can get it at a little over 140-ish. Also, for whatever reason, this segment moves. I don't understand that. It's one of the changes they made, and that knee segment changed, or that knee segment moves. Excuse me, for a second I had to kill an ant that was dragging all over my set. So for the arms, I am straight up not even going to attempt a 360. Can they likely do one? Maybe. But it requires moving all of this out of the way first. I don't trust those joints. So here is the full rotation, or the full everything on the arm, and I'm going to get my turntable out of here because I'm tired of it readjusting it. So here's the full bend. There's the first 90. There's the second 90, so you get about 180 out of the elbow over 2 joints. Really good. You can do a full rotation up here at the bicep. Full 360 at the wrist, and it's on a hinge here too, so it can do the fabulous thing. On the back of the arm, you have a little slider. You pull it forward. And you can reveal what's either 2 itty-bitty Vulcans, 2 cable launchers, or 2 grenades. The red Zeta really needs an explanation, even though it, like, this is from Gundam Evolve, so you can go watch it. That episode, it's from episode 9. It's only like 10 minutes long at most. Gundam Evolve was really short. Because Gundam Evolve was basically part of the Gunpla Evolution project to show off, hey, so we made these new kits, and they're supposed to mop the floor with the old ones, and in most cases they do. Not all of them. So, moving down to the feet now, because look at, these are the most Epion-style feet I have ever seen, and I love it. Also, you'll never say he does not have a goal. His heel extends out twice as far as the regular Zeta Gundams. Even further than the Delta Pluses, which actually I don't even think the Delta Plus had a heel, it just had this segment here. But you've got great range of motion from the feet for a Zeta. Side to side, kinda limited. About 15 in either direction, 15 degrees. So, there is a few other notable changes. So they did change the shield, and I've had a few hiccups when I was building mine. A couple of tabs got sheared off, so one part can go way further forward than it's supposed to. So this is that fin that's as far out as it's supposed to go. I accidentally clipped the other side, and now it goes out to here. So I don't really mess with these fins much. Also, same toothpick pegs as the crotch. But this is the new shield, and once again, there come the stickers again. This is the new shield and also the new weapon. I like the look of this shield. It kind of, like, with all the spare parts this thing has, throw it together, you might be able to make yourself, I don't know, the most F-Zero looking hover racer tank thing ever. But inside the thing here is what is supposed to be his standard weapon. This awesome looking beam pistol. I love this thing, actually. It's got 3 sights on it, which is weird. You've got 2 sights down here, and then 1 sight up here. Also, it looks very spiky, and it also looks like it would really hurt, considering this is also, because of the spikes, possibly a striking weapon. So, that's just a painful thought. You can mount the shield on the back of the arm, and you don't even have to remove this to mount it, so... And he holds this better than every other weapon he has. So let's get this tabbed in to the back of his arm. So as you can see, it doesn't weigh that much. Once again, this is a technically fresh kit, and I built this about 2 weeks ago, and it's taken me this long to regain my sanity. But as far as other weapons go, you get the full Hyper Mega Launcher. I believe that's what it was called. This is also included with the standard Zeta Gundam, so this is a cool thing to have. There is absolutely no way to mount this in Wave Rider mode at all. So let's see if I can get this in the hand, because so far the answer to that was no. Because this thing is unwieldy in terms of its proportions. So yeah, this thing is not wanting to go into the hands. It's not wanting to line up at all. Also, it gets longer. Much longer. If there was a way to mount this, I would love it, but unfortunately, I can't even really see a way to mount it except for maybe using this itty-bitty, tiny little peg here, and no, it does not want to tab in. So this natively can only be held by the kit, otherwise it natively does not work with it. The other accessory you get with this kit is the standard Zeta rifle. You're going to hear this... Remember what I just said about 5 seconds ago? Same story. Because look, let me get the handle pulled back down, and see if you notice anything similar about where these handles are positioned. Except you'll also notice one other thing that's different. You see that lovely tab that's back there? It can get out of the way, kind of. But then another tab comes out. What the hell was this for? The only way I can figure this was designed for was connected to the original shield, which is only about a third here. A lot of people like this. You can stick a beam saber in the end of this, just like in the anime, and yes, it extends. I personally am not a fan of this just because it is so hard to pose with this. You can't pose with the arms straight. You have to pose at an angle. Yeah, see, it's not even wanting to go in the hand. And this isn't just me fighting it. This is me trying to get it to line up with that peg, which is way too shallow for this hand. Of course, now that I turn it, now it wants to go in. But that's the best pose you're going to get out of it. It's an underslung rifle. There's no way... You can get it up, but you'll never get it straight. That's my one overall problem with just the Zeta in general. Its weapons are just too damn big. And this is coming from a guy who loves heavy weaponry, so, yeah. So, let's get into that transformation, shall we? here's what the transformation is like. So for this, we get to do some little shaky camera because my hands are unstable and my tripod does not reach up this high. I transformed this one time. One singular time. I just want to point out, number one, and this will be mentioned many times during this review, these stickers suck. See that? I built this kit not even 2 weeks ago. And it's already like that. So this is the spin. I'm only going to transform this one time. This was it. Because parts have already broken. Bandai, I love this kit. I love the character. What the fuck did you do to this thing? Please get a nice shot of his butt. This completes the spin of the product. I will make sure to insert some very hideous transformation clips. Stand by. And we're back to this because I am not ever transforming this kit again. Ever. Starting off with, here's the problems with the transformations. When you're working with this part here, you have to push that. You have to fold these up. That's what the manual says. You fold it up and you fold this all over after pushing the head down. This does not work. This fin sticks out too far. Or that could be the hasty mod that we had to do to fix this thing, but it just does not want to cooperate. So the easiest thing you can just do, if you're ever going to transform this thing, is remove the V-fin. A secondary one of these is included, kind of. You get the original black part. That's all that's included. But, potentially, if you have the double Zeta, you might be able to take some of the spare fins there, since I believe these are the same width. So, if you enjoyed the review, enjoyed watching me lose my fucking mind, please, leave a like. It helps me out. Also, if you ever feel like talking, want to talk kits, just want to keep up with me, find out what I'm doing while I'm slow roasting, I have a Discord now. I will leave a link to it down in the description below. If you feel like joining, hey, come on down. We're always welcome to have more builders. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.